Jordan. Oh, hey, Dolly, how are you? I'm good, man. I'm good. Cracking on with some hand-eye care stuff today. What you get up to? Oh, I might turn this into a devlog thing, so I'll explain as I'm going along. Basically, so what we've done so far is I'll explain as I'm going through. I'll go through it now. So first step number uno, go into your control rig, blah blah. Ignore this. This is just for my debugging. Stuff instead. Yeah. So go here. Create controls at the right. Yeah. I went into a devlog. Yeah, why not? We haven't done devlog in ages. Yeah. So what's that morning? Hey Thomas, man, how you doing? Hope you're well, bro. Yeah, so first things first, you want to create some controls. I've got these other controls, but you can ignore them for now. You want to create these two controls, right and left hand control. You can do that by going to the right click it. It says here new, hit new control. It's going to create a control at that point. Then if you hit here, you can unparent that. And then you have it. You rename it to whatever you want. I'm just going to delete it because I don't need it. But you do that for the right and the left hand, and you get your two controls. Now, if I was to just plug that in straight to an IK solver, you see here. And I have my controls. If I get my right hand and left hand control. So like if I now move this, my hands now move with it. See, my hands now move with the right hand and left hand control. Feels nice. As you can see. So yeah, you can then start to see how your IK solver will start to behave and whatnot. But basically, we don't want these randomly configured control points. We want them based on our actual hand input. So we're not going to use that bit, but now we're actually setting it up. So let's plug it back into here. Now, so first I'm doing, we need to get the locations, the set our controls from the current pose location. So if we come up here, let me just make this nice and pretty, nice and neat as I'm going along. So this step is we want to get our current pose, which is from the animation, because the IK and the control is applied after we've done the animation, it's applied to it. So we want to get the current pose. So to do that, we get our controls and set the current pose like hand bone locations to our control locations. So we get our right hand control, our left hand control, blah blah. And then we're gonna have to go into our rig. Wacky waving inflatable arm playing tune, right? Yeah, right. So now we're gonna get our left hand and right hand to go here, get transform. We're just gonna plug that in instead. We'll do the same again. We're gonna just switch it over to hand right. And now you have your right hand and your left hand set up as your left control and right control. So now if I plug this in, here, connect up, yes. We can ignore the rest of that. But if I plug this in, you'll see my controls are now at the location on my right and left hand. Can't move them because they're being set to the pose, and the pose is currently that. So now that we've set our control locations or where we want our controls to be, we now basically need a now we need to do our traces. So what we're doing basically is when the yeah, so what we're doing is basically when your character is dialable or it's colliding with the wall, so capture colliding, we want to basically put your hands against the wall. Now there's a lot of things that go in. If you're a bit further away from the wall, you're gonna lean against the wall, or like to the side, you want to lean to the side. So there's a lot that's going on. Let's see what's the thing. Yeah, so you might want to lean to the side, you might want to lean to the left side, you might want to lean forward, you might want to rest your hands back. So there's a lot of different ways in which you can work the body. Now, what we want to do though, however, is basically all these points of where we want to touch. I'm going to trace from the shoulder forward. So this is just for the wall collision. We're going to sort out. So if you have a big wall and you're walking against it, you're walking into it. Basically, if you're walking straight into the wall, you're going to put your arms, and you're pretty much, if you were to run into a wall, you're going to probably put your arms like this and stop like that. So and that's shoulder. Audio seems to be sort of glitchy sound. Yeah, it seems because of my I think let me know if I fixed it. Let me know if it's better. Yeah, you want to put your shoulders. You want to like reach out from your shoulders. You wouldn't be like this to stop yourself. You're gonna stop yourself like that. So I do a trace called shoulder trace, which is basically just a line trace. Yeah, which is basically a line trace from your shoulder. Which here, if we go in here, we create a new function, shoulder trace, and then in the shoulder trace, if you click on the entry bit, you can define your inputs and outputs. So the inputs we're going to take in a bone, which is basically going to be the bone in which you're traced from. In this case, is the upper arm bone, because in our skeletal hierarchy, if I show you the skeleton, the skeletal hierarchy, the upper arm. I don't know if I can't here, but let me. Right, yeah, the upper arm bone is at this point here. That's where the bone is. So that's a good point in which we want to trace from. So let me just unweird Josh. There we go. So we're gonna trace from that upper arm point, and we're gonna trace forward 100. So we can use control with Y. We add 100 forward from the location wherever it is. And so our start will be the shoulder location, the end will be 100 forward. So then we do a sphere trace. You just search this up by channel. To make it sort of like a line trace, you just do a 0.1 radius, but you can actually do a sphere trace. So if you want to, so as you can see now, I'm anticipating that this object is direct, that there is going to be a big wall in front of me. It could be a case where there's like between my shoulder and where I want to touch it, there's a bit of a gap. It's like raised and it's just like a single beam. This is when we'll increase the radius of this trace, because then we can have a big circle going forward, like, and that circle radius represents all the places in which we can touch. So we'll probably change that, but for now we'll just keep a line trace because we're focusing on one use case at the moment. We take the hit location of that, we plug it into our return, the hit location, and hit normal, because we're going to use the normal when we want to rotate the hands. So that's pretty much it, the shoulder trace. We can do that for the left hand and right hand. We just made two variables, right hand target location, right hand target normal. And that's the two locations we want to set the right hand and left hand to when we in the tracings. So that's pretty much that. We're then going to let's plug these back in. So plug that in there. Plug that in there. Now, with control rig, another good practice, whenever you're use a lot of sequence nodes just to keep things organized. Whenever you get to the D, you make a new sequence node and then you plug in your remaining things from that. So now we'll plug in that. So as you can see here, and oh yeah, so in the shoulder trace, just for debugging purposes, I do a little draw line just so I can see the red line. We'll see what the trace is doing basically. So that's the trace. It's a bit long at the moment, but it's fine because we can actually get a lean of the hips. So I'm mainly focusing on just wanted to get the effectors and the hand going to the location, and then we'll work on fine tuning it. Hey Pegasus, man. Yeah, man. It's been a while. I've been quite busy, so I haven't had time to stream as much as I'd like to. But I'm back streaming now, so all good. Yeah, the feet are looking really good. Rotation's really good. There's one or two things to still fix up. With the leaning and the foot rotation, but it's looking really good. It's looking really good. I'll show you that in a bit here, but yeah, it's coming along really nicely, to be honest. It's coming along really nicely. Obviously, we're almost being extra like finicky with our IK because it's got to be perfect. So we're gonna, kind of step trying to make sure it's like at that pinnacle. Hey Noma, how you doing, man? How's things going? How's the PhD life, man? Okay, cool. So then here, what we're doing here, we basically our right hand and left hand control, which is the points at which we're gonna set our hand to. Right hand, left hand control. If you see when we plugged it in, just compile this. That is good. That's a weird behavior. Oh yeah, sorry, yeah. Okay, yeah, it's doing that because So basically what we've done here, this new target location is the result of the trace. Now one thing it's doing is if the trace isn't hitting anything, it's just setting the new target location to 0. Which is wrong. So we can do a couple little things. We can do a branch in here to determine what we set this. I say writing mostly. Life of an academic, man. Okay, yeah. So what we can do. There's a couple things we can do. So if you see here, we get the pose, we set the control to that point. Okay? Now, we could say, okay, let's add another variable. There's a couple ways we can do it. I'll try it this way first. We're gonna probably experiment to see which way is the most optimal. But let's add another output. I will call it the hand. So we'll call it B hit, which is Boolean hit, which is basically say did the hand hit or did the trace hit something. And then what we'll do is create 2 new variables. Call this one first of all left hand trace hit. Boolean left hand trace hit, and then we'll go Boolean right hand trace hit. So this will basically did the left hand hit, did the right hand hit. So we'll go in here. Oh no, we need to set. Sorry, not get. We'll set. Did the right hand trace hit. It's so weird, like coming back, like using Unreal. I remember when I first started using this, how slow I was when it was like setting up blueprints and stuff. Now it's like you can set up an entire blueprint in like 5 minutes. But it's just crazy to see how much things change over time. So, where was I at? What was I doing? Blah 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 blah. Yes. Okay. So now, yeah. So now we need to basically say, okay, what I'm going to do actually, I want to separate these two because I'm probably going to do some rotation stuff at that point as well. So let's bring into that, bring this down. Let's separate these two. So use the right hand first, and then we'll say do branch. Now we'll branch and we'll say, okay, if the left hand, if it did hit a wall, so if the left hand trace, if it did hit, because one thing that is interesting with the feet, when the control rig is active, the feet are always going to be on the floor, unless otherwise you don't activate the control rig. So that's one interesting thing is like you never have a case where the feet don't need to be pulled to the floor when we're doing the foot control rig. The hand is different because there is a case where the hand don't need to have the IK activated onto them. But they can, but they don't need to be in a location other than the current pose location. because they may not hit the wall, but we still want that going. Uh, and I mean, you could do it how, like, you get rid of this branch. Theoretically, this branch will be necessary because we wouldn't call the IK part of this control wall collision unless we're in a context in which we're going to collide with the wall, and that's done separately in like gameplay logic. But one thing I want to have is, rather than calling a right hand control, left hand control, and determining the context, we're just going to do a couple more um, determinations, um, basically like conditionals to check if the right hand hits, we can still put it to location. But if the left hand hits it, doesn't hit, I want it to still be in the post. So I can have my right hand gliding against the wall and my left hand not. I saw your question come through. So are you saying that when you're close to the wall, the hands will be in a posture where it's indicating that there's a wall, like the hands touch it? Yeah, so I'm saying basically how, like, when I'm close to a wall and I want my hands to basically touch, and I'm running into the wall, so that I'll call this control grid when the capsule's colliding with the wall. And I want my hands to basically go against the wall, because at the moment you're just like running in spot, or you just stop. If you run into a wall, you just stop, or you're running in the spot. And no person would run into a wall. You know, you're going to put your hands against it. So what the aim is to basically do that, and have the hands go to a point in the wall. We have just more conditionals in this because there's a lot of more cases where we don't need the hands to actually go to the wall. If you're straight, you're colliding the wall, but you're colliding. Again, this is when it's going to be interesting. You're colliding with the wall, but you're colliding like the wall on the right side, and you're still running straight. So you technically want to still be moving forward. Like you're not gonna, if you're running straight, you don't want to necessarily put your hand against the wall. But you might, to be still, you might. Yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah. The all caps gets me. Yeah, so yeah, that's pretty much it. But yeah, there's a lot of like conditional cases which we might tweak to make it look cool. So like normally you'd say if the capsule's colliding, but you're how to put it? Yeah, if the capsule's colliding but you're running straight, you wouldn't necessarily put your hands on the wall. But we might actually do it so that you do put your hands on the wall. And that will change how we do the trace, actually. Because it could be a case really of just like finding the point at which the capsule collides with the wall and like pointing out that. There's a lot of contextual things that can go on, and that will come as we like make this more advanced. But for now, I just want to get an implementation where the hands go to the wall. So yeah, if the left hand trace hits, if the right hand trace hits, like stupid. Yeah, the right hand trace hits. That's true. Set that the right hand control to that, and the right hand target location is the new right hand control position. If it's not false, we don't need to do anything else, because if you see it here, it's set to the control of the hand pose. So as you see now, that is in the correct position. Do the same thing again. This one now. Oh. Yeah, I mean, I hope it helps, like me explaining it. I always find it nice when someone's going through it, explaining it themselves while they're thinking about it. Because it's one thing when you've done it all and you go back and explain, but when you haven't done it, and your thought process is a bit different because you don't know what's right or wrong. So it's a lot more experimentation. So you kind of have to understand it. What if you're running and let's say the wall is on a 45-degree angle, but it's like the thing still touches the wall? Okay, how are you going to fix that? Oh, so you mean if the wall is like this? Okay, I see what you mean. And you're running and it capsule collides. you're not gonna necessarily want to put your hand like that. Yeah, 100%. So that's one of those cases where I was discussing increasing the size of the trace capsule. So when I trace currently from the shoulders, I basically trace straight. So the point at which you can contact is going to be straight at the moment, because the sphere is really small. But what I can do is basically make a much bigger sphere, which basically covers this big range of movement that we can put our hands to. So I have this thing, we can put it here, we can put it there, blah, blah, blah. And what we do, if we have this bigger sphere, when it traces, then we're looking at a collision point, a collision like passer that is much, much bigger. So if it's passing through it, the walls are 45 degrees, this sphere is going to contact higher up. So therefore, it's going to put its hands here. So I actually have my roof in my wall is a great example here, actually. Let me see if you can see this. So this is actually a slant, if you see here. So now my capsule would be around me, and my capsule would be colliding probably around this point. So it would stop me, well, I'll be able to go through, but my capsule would probably collide around here, because there's a bit of gap above. Now at this point, my hands, I would, like a normal thing, would put my hand here. But the way I'm doing it now, the trace would go forward and I'd put my hand here, which is not realistic. That's not how your hand should actually go. So what I would do is increase the sphere to say, rather than just going in a straight line, my collision gets this radius, however high I want it to be. So now, if I look at this radius here, I could put my hand here. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. I'm trying to explain it nicely. By increasing the radius of your trace, you basically allow for a bit bigger. If I'm like, okay, I want to hit something. If I throw something really small, the range of things at which I can hit is also small. Like I can only hit like fine points. But if I get a massive ball and throw it, I can hit so much more of the surface, like and at an earlier point too, because the ball is bigger. So especially when something's slanted, so that will account for. It's basically just the sphere range of movement of your arm, how up and down you can get. That damage. Okay, good. Okay. Sometimes I don't even know if it makes sense. I'm just there waving my hand around, but hopefully that makes sense. So yeah, so now we set our left hand control to that point there. Okay, cool. As you can see now, the points aren't at the bottom; they're just at the pose because it's currently not hitting anything. Whereas if it was to hit something, ideally you would now go to that point. We have no full body IK going on, so nothing would happen. But let's actually plug some full body IK in. So let's plug this in here. Let's add a rewritten node. Little tips and trick for those guys learning Unreal, because no one told me this and there's nothing on there really. Double click it. If you double click a line, it creates a reroute. So little trick or treat when you're trying to organize code. So yeah, if you hover over it and then double click, so, I wish someone told me that when I started. Rather than have to drag, press reroute, it's like crap. Okay, yeah, and I made the IK node here. I mean, I can just make it again for everyone's ease of understanding. Search up for the IK. The root, we're going to say is on pelvis because it's attached to root. Here, we can add 1, 2, 3 effectors. First effector could be our right hand. Second effector could be our left hand. Third effector could be our spine. This is just acts as a stabilizer. If you remember when we did the legs, we added the spine as an effector bone, but we gave it 0 offset and 0 strength alpha. All it does then is like when you're pulling the arms, it keeps the spine a bit more stable. Because before you could just be like that. You mean if the right hand moves, it would literally go like this. Now if the right hand moves, it'd be like. Does that make sense? I hope it does. Okay, cool. So now, as you can see, the hand's a bit crazy because it's like, where am I going to? Let's get the controls. Now, as you can see, there's some weird. Oh, that is because we do this lovely thing. Hello, you are behaving interesting. Hmm. Hmm. Some weird behavior. On the right and left hand. Um, What if, let's say, the wall is on your left side and you're stopped? Would your left hand touch the wall, indicating there's a wall there? Like only one hand touch it? Yeah, it would. It would. Because I think it looks cooler. Like, don't you think? Like, I think if you're stood by a wall and your hands like this, it's like, yeah, it's like, whoa, how do you know the wall's there? You know, we're like, yeah, it knows the wall's there. It gives your character a bit more of a sense of like realism. It's like it's almost aware of its surroundings. Do you know what I mean? Whereas if it's just standing there, but it also depends. It depends. If I think it'd be cool if there's a wall there and it's standing still for it to be touching the wall. I think it'd be cool. Because I think it like gives it a sense of like surrounding. But there's also context, because if it's idle, you kind of want it to play the idle animation. So there's balance, you know. It's a fine tuning balance. There's one thing we can do it where it's like if you're idle and you're very close to a wall, so we can scale the trace. That's what we'll do. Like the trace will be smaller. So it's like if you're very close to a wall, we'll put a hand on. If you're a bit further away, you know what I mean? Now we've got some weird ass behavior going on. Probably because there is no bone settings whatsoever. Blah 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 blah. So it can just bend however it wants to. Additionally, there are some things that I need to check as well because when we're using these hand fixes, we normally use IK bones. Which is one thing that's quite interesting. So I'm gonna actually let me check this out. So we did this with the feet, which is probably on our. We should really. So rather than using control, we use like IK bones, which is what Unreal does. Which and they behave. This is the thing; they behave literally the same. Um, like I, but sometimes I don't even know. They behave literally the same way. So sometimes I'm like, what? But yeah. This is probably a rotation thing, you know. I think it's probably works the same, but it's because when we set this transform, we set the rotation to 0. So I'm going to anticipate we need to do this. May not work, we'll see. May not work, may work. I think it might. Maybe not. Some weird behavior going on. Some weird behavior. Um, I think it's something to do with some bone settings, if I'm honest. Um, I did some tweaking yesterday. So we got clavicle. And then it's thoughts on how the maps are going to be like. So it's going to be an open world game. But I think it's going to be. I'm not too sure. This is something that you'd be better off. Something that Matt would know this a lot better than I would. But my idea of what it is so far, I'm pretty sure it's going to be like have like loads of different like spots, like almost like islands, but they'll be open world. So yeah, I kind of blah 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 blah. Was it the upper arm I used? I can't remember. Was it lower arm? There was a bone I used though. I think it was the lower arm. Hands are behaving weirdly. Did life crunched in or something? I'm not even sure why. Some very weird behavior. Really. Yeah, yeah, we all based on real life locals. It's a really strange behavior. In terms of what's going on with this, I'm not too sure. But we do all that crap. Let us basically just check to see if the points are going to where we want them to go to. Fingers crossed. So yeah, let's plug this in. We can actually connect this up. Go to blueprint. Highlight. Ooh. Oh, yeah. Okay, so let's just make some tweaks. So basically here, we're basically saying it is a locomotion, then we do it. But I'm gonna actually just whatever happens after this, I'm then gonna control rigging. This control rigging is going to be that of the. So the hands are gonna look crazy weird. Basically, run into a wall. The hands look crazy. But I basically want to see if I run into a wall, the hand's gonna go up to the wall. They probably won't work. Let's be honest. Nothing works for this thing. Let's just add geometry box. That didn't like it when I asked, so I'm not gonna ask. We will take the character capsule over here. Okay, so let's check this. Sorry about the terrible graphics you're about to see. So what's going on with you, sir? What are the hands doing? I don't even. Oh my goodness. What are the difference? What are the hands doing right now? Oh. I got in the wrong round. So I was like, why is it not working? But it wasn't working because they were the wrong round. So let us delete these for that. God, I'm so stupid sometimes. I don't help myself, do I? I was like, why is it? Because in my head, I was like, it's having some weird behavior. The left and right hand was swapped, which is what it looked like as well. Oh God, I'm so stupid. Anywho, now. Into a song. See, I can't debug anything, which is the only thing that's really annoying. I can't debug anything in the thing. So, okay. So what's going on here? Let's pull this straight into this bit here. We said the IK hand right. It's gonna behave crazy. But one thing I want to see, basically, okay, so it's gone towards the floor pretty much. Just want to see if it's a 0-0 the whole time. Which will be. Oh, so as you can see there, obviously all the rotations are so off. They're so off. And if I walk away from the wall, it does that. But as you see here, it's snapping it to it. Boom. Bang. one. So yeah, it does take its toll. Now hold up, wait a minute, son ain't right. If the trace hits, oh, why no one tell me this? You guys just let me do. I didn't connect the hit to the. You guys just let me fail. You people make me look stupid, people. Yeah, that was the problem. I didn't. Well, the problem was I didn't connect anything up correctly. Basically, problem is basically I suck. That was the problem. I suck at my job. I was like, well, you don't walk like that, Pegasus. Why are you lying? All right, now it's all normal. Now, if we walk towards the wall, it should put its hands on the wall. Obviously, it's way too quick, but that's when we get into appellation. That's what we do. So, and obviously, the current rotate, the stuff the bone's doing, that's all IK bone settings. But if you actually see, there's a nice little lean going on. So that looks quite nice. And obviously, now if we walk like this, see how you see how like one hand goes on because of how we're, see what I mean? So like one hand, both hands will go on. So if we're now doing, it's just one hand on there. So it's actually quite good. So that's the perks of the tracing both things. So, and you know what? Let me show you the example of the sphere thing. So if I take this up and I rotate this like this, okay, theoretically, and I lift this up here. Okay, and I'll play now. Okay, so now if you watch, as I go underneath it, the hands should be higher. You know what I mean? The hands should be higher. Or if I do this, sorry. Let me make this even more. Hope he's not able to just walk on me. Yeah. So if you see here, he can't walk any way through. So the hand should be like here. But it's not because the trace is going forward. The trace is going forward. So now if I bump up, if I go to my trace and I bump up this radius, I'm gonna make it crazy. I'm just gonna say this now. I'll make it something like, let's say like 10. And let me draw. I draw a radius. What's really in the, I need a sphere, really, but control rig is limited in that regard, I guess. So we'll do location. We'll basically just do the endpoint. Translation, we'll just make it endpoint. So if you see here, those spheres, that's basically the thing. So when I say 10, that's that. So if I big ass box, I know. So we'll make this radius 50. So it's like by the head. Let's make it even more. Let's make it like 80. So now, theoretically, hypothetically, possibly, hopefully, fingers crossed. There you go. See what I was saying was correct. So it's like you change that sphere radius, so now it's going to be able to touch greater points. So now as I'm walking through, it's going to touch that point, slide through, which we might leave this. That's pretty good. Obviously, we have a lot of work to do with in terms of, and this is, yes, that's been a whole day just experimenting with both settings, and I really didn't get anywhere. But that's what's going to be going on later. But we're going to just, I basically want to get today, it moving to that point and hand rotation good. So yeah, that's how we'll do it. 80 kind of big, if I'm for real. Let's go back 50 again. See how that behaves. I want it just to only, like, if it's going through, I don't want it to be like this. I want it to like do it to its head so it like walks through it. So maybe like 70 or 60. 70? Yeah, 70. Now let's play. This is one thing what I say to you guys. It's like, when you're working on something, don't like rush it. Like, take your time when you're doing it. Like, so with IK, I've been working on this for so long. And the reason being, like, now, like that, I knew the behavior that was going to happen before it like happened, because I was like, oh, I'm fully aware of how IK is going to behave now. That's even a bit much. That's too much. 50 probably would be the job. Because it leans forward when it walks. That's a 90-degree angle. 50 probably in the job. Because before it's really easy to just like see someone, oh, they use a trace of 0.1, I'm just going to use that, but not understanding why and how that works. But when you learn how and why it works, when you make something else, you're like, oh, that's how I fix this problem, because I know how that thing works. There we go. That's it. That's it. So you can even do less. You can probably really do less. But yeah, cool. I'm happy with that for now. Let's change the wall back to nice and straight. Check out the behavior once again. Yeah, we'll interpolate between values, so we could do that now, but this is actually working. Weirdly enough, it's actually working how I kind of wanted it. So that's a good point to be at. Hold on, this. You know that crap. Prioritize. Yeah, so now what do I want to do? What do I want to do now? What is my focus for this next point in time? I guess my focus for this next point in time, really. You know what? Let's do it right. Let's interpolate some values. So this target location, here. Well, so basically, okay, what we're gonna do is this. There's a couple different things we could do. Now we could get the current hand location, which we're just going to get the pose transform from. And yeah, you know what? Let's do a couple different things. So here, we just set the transform, but we're not going to set it to this target location here. We want to basically interpolate to that point. So yeah. So if the trace hits, okay, yeah, let's do that. So we only really care about, let's set some two more variables. So we're going to say current right, no, say right hand current location. That's going to be a vector. We're going to add another variable as well. That's going to be left and current location. So we're gonna interpolate between these two values so that the current location, target location, can move slowly towards it. Interpolation means just moving from one value to another value over time. So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna set this right-hand current location. We're gonna set this to. See you later, Pegasus, man. It was good to have you, man. You kept me on my toes with all the questions. I loved having them. It was really nice to actually get a lot of questions. So yeah, man, I appreciate it. Yeah, awesome, man. Catch you later. We can actually take it from this. We could take it from this to get the translation. So this is the current location on the right hand. Now we want to the current is this. Target is that. So that will then, we said plug it in as our translation there. Interpolate between the current and the target. And I don't think we need to then set the current after, because we'll loop back through, reset it, that will become the current then. So I don't think we need to. Literally same thing again. Okay, running left. Drag this back out. Basically, the way spring interpolate works is it like with like stiffness and those values. It's like the further away you are, the faster you move, and as you get closer, so it's sort of like a spring. You're like, ping. Does that make sense? So it's like, oh, I'm really far, I gotta go. Then it's like, oh, I gotta slow down right there. Then you go. But like if you're grabbing an item, you wouldn't. If you're like far away, you wouldn't go like, okay, I want to grab this remote. It'd be like, it rather than just going, it'd be like, it go really quick then grab it. One last question, go for it, man. What's your question, bro? Question, man. What the hell? Okay. I don't like that. That's weird. me just check how I did it in the. Take an example of a light poster running around it. I've seen people grab it while turning. Would that be in the game? That would be a cool thing. Yeah, it will be in the game. Now that's an interesting thing. That's interesting. You could theoretically maybe get that with IK. You could. No, I don't actually. That's quite cool. It could. You might be able to get it with IK. What? Have the hand move towards it, rotate around it, and go. You might be able to get that by IK. Yeah. It will be in the game. Yeah, I'm gonna make sure that whether we get it with an animation or an IK, always IK. You probably get it with IK to be honest. If we get this hand IK looking nicely, then yeah. Just check how I did, man. Yeah, what the? Why you gotta be like that? Why you gotta be like that? So it's the current value, the target value, and interpolate between the two. Yeah. Why you being so weird? Spring interpolate. Why you gotta be like that? If you don't like it, I don't like you either. Let's do. We got to integrate delta time. Working on traces and IK alone without any mocap. Oh, you could, but it wouldn't look good because it's like. So I'm guessing you mean you just jump over a wall and try and recreate a con. It wouldn't look good. It wouldn't look good. You'd have to make so many tweaks that. So basically, you also would never do it because at that point the IK is driving the animation. So basically, if everyone watching, like IK is, it's like how do I want to give a really good analogy. How do I put it? It's like. How do I put it? I'm trying to think of the best way to explain it. IK is like basically IK doesn't drive animations. It's an accessory to it. So you don't let IK drive your animation. So IK shouldn't be the driving force behind an animation. IK should complement your animations. If you have bad animations, IK would make your animations good. So if you have good animations, IK will allow you to take them to the next level. That's what I mean. So like IK complements it rather than creates it, you know? So that point of not having the Kong animation, but needing IK to recreate the Kong animation, the problem with that is at that point IK is creating the animation and you'll never get it to be how you want because at that point you need theoretically a setting for every single bone for that animation because the way the body moves is so different. Like you're gonna have to set every bone to move in a specific way, and at that point you're literally just making an animation. You may as well just, you know what I mean, almost create the animation yourself. What you do use IK for is the getting the hands to touch the wall bit. So if you're hanging over something and you want the hands just to touch that wall, IK. And if the wall's a bit lower, you might want to bend over a bit, IK. but you cannot use IK to determine or create your animation, because at that point your animation system is full. Okay, I'm glad you understood it. Yeah, I was trying to make sure it's clear, because it's often, I think it's a really misconfused. It's like a very um confused concept, which even I confused it initially myself, because I didn't know a lot about it myself. I knew about it, I knew how it worked and whatnot, but I confused it a lot. Um, but yeah, it's an accessory, and like it's an accessory rather than your primary thing. It's like, think of Warzone, okay? Like, if you play Warzone, I don't know, and when you're doing your loadout, IK is like you add a sight, or you add a scope or something. It's literally like that. It's like you can't use IK to make the guns better. Do you mean if the gun sucks, it sucks? But you can add it to give you, better aim, make it silenced, what I mean? So you can add all these little accessories to make it, just a bit better, you tweak it, make it exactly the kind of weapon you want, and tweak it for specific situations. So say you need to, I don't know, you're on a stealth mission and you want to be quiet, you add a suppressor, you add IK. Do you mean? So it just tweaks it for given context. That's the analogy I was looking for. I mean, I wish I wasn't using guns as the analogy, but animal. It's weird behavior. Some some weird interpolation going on. Um, with the because it's going past it and then coming back to it, basically, which is a problem. Is that we need to get rid of that snap. If I go like 5, which is hella slow. Yeah, most people just use it to keep the feet on the ground. That's literally what it is. That's what a lot of people use it for. See, it's snapping, but I think it's snapping because of the IK. I think that's actually why it snaps. I think before we get, we're really focused about this, I think I'm gonna leave it on 2. I think it is snapping because of the IK, because of the way the bones move. They move really weirdly. Because if you limit it to go like that, it should hopefully move slower, theoretically. Yeah, this is a good point to actually to save and check it. We have it get into the position we want to have it to get to. Blah blah blah. Next, I think we're gonna look at the rotation of hand. When the hands rotated nicely to the wall, and then I think it's going to be a case of now looking at all our bone settings to how do we move to the wall, and then we look at the interpolations, and then we look at those edge cases. Those I'm trying to slide like this. I mean, And then, before we do that, we need to determine when we're going to turn this thing on and off. This IK on and off, basically. We could do that. Oof. What should I do next? Probably should do that next. So, bro. We should do that next. No. We'll get the hand rotation right. We'll get that body movement thing, and then we'll determine when we turn it on. Let's check this in though. It's nice. It's working. Before we do that, let's clean it up. Let's clean it up. Commenting. So we'll say for this first section that we said was to get incoming pose and set IK bones. This next section here. Right hand trace. Technically it's that shoulder, but we use it for our hands. That's what we need. Basically, we're finding the target location for our hands. Okay. Sorry, just tidying, making it neater and whatnot. Alright, let's check this in. We've got a working implementation. Fix that. Oh, my shoulder's broken. I also messed up my thumb massively. Like it doesn't hurt, but like when I can't pinch things. Like I can't really apply much pressure. Uh, I'm just being a baby. Basically, yes. 7 will get 60 then. It's all aches and pains, man. Honestly. Weird to see. We've come quite far away though. Like when we were just like making maps. I was making a map, and now you're working on like trying to perfect an IK system. You know, it's a lot's done. A lot's done. It's cool to see. I'm excited for when everyone gets working on this thing because it just ramp up so much, which will be cool. What was I on about doing? Oh yeah. Okay, so we said rotation. Ooh. Okay, let's do that. I was like, what the hell? I was like, what's going on? Well, I saw that over here. So rotation. So couple things we got to do. Numero uno. Okay, numero uno. First things first. Yo, Guns, how you doing, man? Yeah, first things first. We've got to rotation. So good aim. To a beautiful aim. Just gonna pop it across from that downhill because I'm done. The devlog episode's already come and gone. I did, yeah. I was streaming. It's hard to because it's a lot more graphically intensive. Makes sense. So the stream will lag purely just because I don't have a 3036. I just need a better CPU, a GPU. But I will get one. That is on my next thing to get. And once I do, then we can stream some. I think, and also once I'm set up, because basically we're getting an office. We're all going to be in the same building, I guess you could say, same area. So we'll be streaming all in one place, and it'll be cool because ideally you just jump between the different people that are working. So what I'd like to really set up is everyone streams, and you just watch the person you want to watch. That person's doing something you have interest in, watch their stream. Or like you just take turns. I stream. If you do this, it's like it'd be probably one of the things where you can speak to each other, like, well, who's doing something interesting today? I'm making a map. Oh, you're streaming. I'm doing, I get stream. You know what I mean? So it's like the programmers will probably never stream. We're only doing it now because it's just us two. Once the designers get involved, they're just gonna be the only ones streaming. So true. So true. Okay, I said don't. We got a set the rotation of the hand we do. Yeah, we do. Okay. First things first. We're getting 8 minutes. Okay, so now the target. I said the target is gonna be this moon. It's gonna be the moon. Yeah, no, I'll be streaming loads, man. I've started to really like it. I get so much more work done when I stream. Like, honestly, it's crazy. Because there's no distractions. Because people are watching you can't really be like, you mean you just keep working. Get so much more work done. Direction. Okay, so forward vector on the axis. Ooh. Target is 1 because that's the y axis and that's the up vector in the world. We gotta go open up the skeleton because we got to see a couple parameters. Now so we go to the hand. First things first, rest in peace. Oh, my hand is broken. Let's go hand right. Look around. There we are. So first things first. So the up axis is looking like the red. I said it's looking like the red. It's looking like the red. Rotated weirdly. Let's go 0. 0. Didn't know anymore. Oh, it seems up is red, forward is Z. Up is X, forward is Z. Interesting. Play it into our song. Yo, I'm hungry. I'm gonna stick some food on a bit. I'm hungry hippo. I'm not hippo, but that's why I said that. You can see the hunger starting to take control. No clue how it's gonna behave. Might not behave right. Probably won't behave right. Probably get children, please. You really hit those, man. That's the worst nick anyone could get. Oh, I was gonna give myself a nick. I think it was cool. Do you mean? They call it Disco Dave, bro. I hate it so much. Like I hate it. It's because I wore flary boots one time, and then they called me Disco Dave. Oh, it's just so annoying. Disco, like and like they'll be on the pitch saying disco. I'll tell you what, you know what? I say I hate it. It's all right. It could be worse. It could be worse. There are worse nicknames to go around. That's the right hand, now the left hand. Horse, you gotta be reversed, man. Why you gotta be like that? Why you gotta do this to me? Horse has gotta be different. So up is Y, forward is negative Z. Oof. Oof. Why you gotta be like that? -1. Disco Hungry Hippo Dave. I'll tell you this now, I hate people Dave. Like, I hate being called Dave. But it's like, it's just, honestly, I hate it with a passion. But it's like, it's stuck because it's so much, everyone just goes to and does it. And like, because so many people did it for so long, I was just like, all right. But I hate it. Like, I hate the name Dave. Like, I like David. I don't like Dave. But everyone's like, you're right, Dave. I'm like, I can't correct everyone and be like, it's David. But, you know what I mean? So I'm just like, oh. But thankfully, no one here really called me Dave. So, that's around. That was my TED talk. So. Froze on the worst possible frame just then. Oh my god. Yeah, let's try it. Oh, it ain't gonna work, but I don't care. Okay, I don't care if it works. Hans, where you going to? Stack up? I don't even know if that's cool. It's because it's going into the wall. But why are you doing this? Come out of the wall. Like, come out. It's definitely not the right way. Yeah, this is definitely not right. Let's drop off here. But it's rotating. It's just not the right way. It is rotating. Oh my god. Well, that's not correct. Wait, hold on. Let's. Sound ain't right. Yeah, we do. We do have a Discord server for the game. Let me do something to share you the link. Invite people. Copy. I'll go on to YouTube. I'll post the link in the chat. There you go. Bum, 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 bum. I'm about to. Honestly, I'm about to get some food. I'm about to take a nice long break. It's definitely something to do with this weird ass stuff going on here. I already know that. Because the hands ain't rotated straight. It's like this. What is that? What is that about? Because look here. Yeah, so the up is that. And the forward. Oh, I'm so stupid. The forward isn't that axis, it's this axis here. I'm stupid. So it's gonna be, for the left hand, it's gonna be X is, see that? See that? I'm stupid. Boom, 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 boom. And the Y is gonna be Y. Yeah, correct. Correct. That is correct. That is correct. I'm just gonna do. And then for the right hand. Whoa, 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 whoa. In the right hand, the forward is going to be minus X, up is minus Y. Somebody come get her. Oh yeah. What's going on here? That's correct. It is technically rotated like this against the surface. You mean the surface is like that? It is technically rotated to the surface. Technically. It's because what it is because the hand and the finger bones, we need it to be like the hand is rotated correctly. That's correct. Although it's a bit crazy, but it's also because of how we reach. When we reach, we normally reach like this, so we look a bit less crazy. But the fact it's rotated inwards is a problem. That is a problem. I need to. Technically, if you really think about it, it's correct. Does it work how I want? No. Does it look terrible? Yes. But technically, it's correct, really. And if it's technically correct, can you ever really be technically wrong? It's all up for interpretation, really. I'm losing my mind. What was I doing? I was doing something. Something was being done. What if you flip a Rooney? Give a little flip. Maybe the target. We gotta do something with the target. I don't know. Hey, we gotta sort this out. We have to sort this out. Because you never do. We just really care about this. Now we could do the rotation in a similar. Ooh. Hold up. Wait a minute. We could do it similar to how we do the feet going uphill. Like getting rid of this weird quaternion crap, and just we create a new control point that we rotate the hand to, and then we aim it at that, and we only move that control point up and down. So therefore, it just does this. Big brain activity there. People seeing that? Yeah, you are. Right, let's do this. But first, we got to debug like there's no tomorrow. So, first things first, recipes, Uncle Phil. The only father that I ever knew. Bum, 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 bum. We'll do the right hand. Right, I'm gonna stick some food in, and then when we come back, we're gonna debug the crap out of this. But basically, we're gonna do. What we're gonna do. Yeah, we're gonna get the control point. Basically. Yeah. Yep. Alright, I got an idea. I know how we're gonna do it. Big brain activity. I know exactly what we're gonna do. I know exactly what we're gonna do. I'm losing my head. So we are gonna do something. Okay, I just need to mentally just get it set up before I go. So this new control. Oh, we don't even need that because we use the IK bones, so we can use this. Big brain stuff. Big brain stuff, people. No, no, that won't work. I'll take it right back. Won't work. Not when we're debugging. Won't work. Whoever thought that was a good idea, you're completely wrong. Okay, let's make a duo. What's the right hand? So we'll call this right hand rotation. Now we're talking. Now we're talking. There we are. Now we can move it up or down like this. Okay, so the closer, the closer we get it. If it's on the wall, I guess it's going to be like this, which is correct. The problem with that is that we're putting it at the same point. Now we're going to need, I think we are going to need to use the door. Alright, I'm going to put some food in and then come back. 2 minutes, guys. I'm cold now. Oh, let me. Yeah. This. Hey, Zen, man, how you doing? Oh, nice and toasty. This haircut is actually like 2 weeks old now. It was pink, but like a rose gold. And then that faded out, so now it's blonde again. I've done it a couple times. I normally go blonde. Oh, how you doing anyway, man? Good, good, man. It's good. It's good that you're good. Yeah, yeah, we've got the lean to work. We've got to make some tweaks to it, but yeah, it's working. We're doing some panda kids thing. Oh. Let's get the axis on the skeleton's inverse. Works. Needs to be a bit more. Obviously, we could fine tune that, but that is actually good. That's correct. And that, well, the best thing about that, we don't do any of the weird quaternion collision crap. Use quaternion stuff for rotation. We actually like get angles. Basically, what that's doing is, I was just kind of like focused on doing it. You calculate the dot product between the normal and the up vector, um, which gives you like the vector representation of like, and then you use a cos thing to basically calculating an angle between two vectors. It's just the rules to it. Because it's like the equation is cos theta equals oh really should normalize that. Yeah, cos theta, I think this is already normalized. Cos theta is equal to yeah, so it's like cos theta is equal to the dot product over the unit vector, basically, but it's like the normalized version. So it's the normalized dot product of the two. I'll write on, like, I'll show you the equation. It's like a cos theta is equal to a b, the unit vector, but it's the unit vectors notation, but it's then the dot product of them two. So yeah, a cos is the inverse cos, inverse cosine. So you do dot product of your two vectors, which is your, because this is if you want to calculate angle between two vectors, it's cos theta is equal to the dot product of unit vectors of the two, which is basically them normalized. So I want to calculate the angle between the normal and the hit normal, sorry, and the up vector, so I can calculate that angle. So the hit normal is like this. Basically, I want to calculate this angle and rotate thingy to that angle. Yeah, so you use the dot product and then inverse cosine that, because that's basically divided by cos to get the angle. And we just use degrees to put in degrees because the front rotator takes it in degrees. And this is a better way of doing it without any of that aim crap, and you get specific angles and shit. Yeah. So if you're thinking about doing a project, honestly, sometimes you just need to. I was like literally a while ago, I was like, hold on, I swear I've done this already. And I was like, yeah, I stepped away from it for a second. It just refreshes your mind. And I was like, hold on, I'm struggling with rotations. I've literally done this before. So let's see this. Please text it loud this time. It's the only thing that's off. The rotation, the actual hand. That's weird. This rotation was nice, but this rotation, I've never worked on a game before. Danny, stop. Yeah, stop. It's new as being watched. That's how it is, man. Computers just won't work for you, and then it's like, oh, hold on, wait a minute. Now I need to work. We got to sort out the rotation of this. They're rotating like this. This up down rotation is perfect. So I mean, I presume if I rotate this. The turning, that rotation is weird, man. I just want to keep. I think really. X the roll. What do you mean? How am I checking for the walls and how am I doing the trace? Yeah. With a nice big old radius. Okay, that's actually correct. That's correct. The left hand just needs to be reversed by me. Sorry, if you see me moving weird, I'm just make sure I understand the your pitch and roll bit. There we go. Much better. Obviously, the IK settings are all disgustingly wrong, but the hand rotation is correct, which is nice. It's nice to have, actually. It's actually pretty cool. It's actually pretty good. It's really nice. She works better than I thought it would. Conversation's okay. We'll check this in. We'll check this in because that's okay. So basically, the problem with Josh Shaw is because we haven't got to the IK bone settings. So basically, you need to configure how the. So when I do the IK, I move it to the point, but it's just gonna move there. However, does that mean it's like, whereas I don't know what I did, but yeah, whereas I need to basically say, oh, bend the elbows first. You mean limit how far you can move the shoulder blades, so you can't move them in. So you have to do that's gonna take ages. Because unlike the feet, there's some predetermined values that a lot of people use to get it working well. But a lot of people don't showcase the IK stuff, so the hand stuff. So it's gonna be a lot of work to get it moving forward how we want it to, because we want it to be like this. So you have to put a long limits, and it's a lot of experimentation. I did a bit yesterday, really. I was having a couple ideas, like 45 watt burns and whatnot, but it's going to be a lot of experimentation, really. We'll get there in the end, though. Somewhere in a dream, tossing, turning, ain't get no sleep. Getting pinged. I don't remember when I put my chicken in. There's no way it's been over 30. It might be. Pretty burnt, man. How long has it been since I've been back? I didn't even know. Who knows? So what did we say? We're gonna do the hand rotation, and then we were gonna do something else. We're gonna do something else. I don't remember what I said. Shoulder bones. I can see the stars are green. Gonna burn that chicken again. So there's a couple things we need to check. Basically. We need to check we're in locomotion, and let's turn it on and off. Let's do that, because that's our point we can leave it. Basically, it works, but it doesn't work. But let's do the next bit where we decide when to turn it on and when to turn it off. Bam, 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 bam. I could see the stars from the sky. Yeah, yeah, simple. Okay, cool. So let's decide when we want to turn it on. Basically, so plug this back into there. Take this controller. I could see the stars from the sky. We're gonna cache all these poses as well to clean this up. But for now, we're then gonna say blend poses by bool. It's true. We're gonna take this, plug it in there, and we're gonna plug this. It's false. Just gonna go that. Oh, what? But yeah, because if we're not colliding, we still want to do all this stuff. So we have a variable. Okay, if it is, I think really we should really catch this pose. So we take the motion map cache pose. We take that. We'll plug into all these things here. Yeah. Okay, let's do this properly, man. There's no point. There's no point doing half-hearted this thing. Because basically, if we're flat, we're doing that. If we're uphill, we're doing that. If we're downhill, we're doing that. So this will always be doing something. So you're always gonna want one of the things. And then you're just gonna oh, I see why I did that. I see why I did. Because basically it's weird, it's different. If it's like, because even if you're not moving, even if you're uphill, you still want to yeah. If you're not moving, even if you're uphill, yeah, your character speed is 0. Even if you're uphill, you still want to go back to the thing, because now we basically look at what surface we're on rather than how I'm moving. So that's why we use this. Okay. You know what then? I'm not gonna use that because this is it's almost an extension of that. It's pretty much the same. This is literally just an extension of that. So I just sort of reorganize it. My chicken's dead. Before I go to that, literally just yeah, okay, that's fine. Because this variable is just going to be, because if I just set this default value to true, and then we play. Why you gotta do this to me, man? Of course it don't work. True, you take the slope and capers and use the control them. Why are you doing this to me? Is he even doing IK? Oh, that works. Oh yeah, it's because of that weird beginning bit where it doesn't do the IK. Oh, hello. Yeah, probably have to drop the length of the tree. Do the trays, but yeah, that works. That works. It's because the capsule in the world is off the ground, so see how it's hovering. So now if I bring it to the ground, it would start. And you see what does it start with? Like so that. Oh, it's not bad. All right, cool. Um, quickly, just wanna. I'm saying do it whenever it's in my head. I'm like, oh, do it whenever it's colliding. Yeah, which is true. But the capsule's always colliding. That's the problem. That won't work because the capsule is colliding with the floor. We need to do it really almost like the sides of the capsule colliding. That's an interesting one because that's more contextual. I mean, at the moment we can do it always now, and we can. Yeah, I mean, what I'll do is just. Yeah, what I'll do is I'll basically just make this trace shorter, so it won't do it on slopes and stuff. It already won't do it when it's rolling and stuff. So I'll make the trace shorter. So here, I do 100. We're gonna make it 50. So it's a hell of a lot shorter. So that it can't go too far. And I gotta remember the radius of the thing as well does impact that, because it is a sphere. Now if I drop off, none of it. Now if I go here, I don't know. Do not know what's going on there. Oh, nice. What the hell? Something's going on with... I need to know if that's a result of the huntress. I really need to know if that's a result of the huntress. So I don't know if I've messed up the lead. What the hell? It's not a result of the huntress, it's the upper huntress. It was literally working perfectly fine yesterday. This lead, it's uphill lead, it's just so messy. Is it? Oh. That's why. Same with downhill. Yeah. Because I've not exposed any of the... Actually, it is behind over sure. So I need to expose these variables. Leaned it. Here we go. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. I had a feeling it's because there was a problem with the check-in stuff. Okay, that's cool. Everything's working as it should. Let's just do a final last little... So if I run up to the wall, hands should go on it. We've got to do loads of... There's a lot still to do. There we go. That's really slow though, and we can now drag our hand across the wall, depending on how we're walking. Nice. We're going uphill, the hand shouldn't go on the floor. Nice. Alright, cool. Let's save it here. Check this in. We will get back to it later. I'm streaming again in a bit, so I'm just gonna get some food. What did I do? I just refactored the blueprint. Oh yeah. Oh, we're getting there, man. We're on the right track. Here we are. That's 3 hours. Nice. That was a good little morning session, guys. We're gonna go again this evening. 'Cause I want to, because it's really gonna be a lot of experiments with the bone sensing. So, we'll do that again this evening. But yeah, awesome, guys. I will see you in a bit. Cheers.